The Backrooms. A place outside our own reality. An infinite labyrinth of seemingly endless rooms and vaguely familiar places. Who knows who or what lies within its walls? And I intend to explore it. What could go wrong? Before we actually enter the backrooms, make sure to check if you are subscribed, and if you're not, consider subscribing, especially if you enjoy this type of content, or in the future. It's free and would help out the channel a lot. This is a relatively fresh channel, so any support would seriously help. Anyways, let's begin our backrooms journey. Before we actually start day 1, let's go over my objective. There are 4 levels of the backrooms: level 0, level 1, level 2, and level 3. You first enter level 0 by clipping into it, and from there, you access the other levels through a portal that is randomly hidden somewhere. My goal is to explore every single level and make it back to the overworld in one piece. All I needed was a light source, so I decided to bring a torch with me. Time in the backrooms works a lot differently than normal reality, so I didn't need food or any other sustenance. I didn't bring tools either, since I just wanted to explore the backrooms as plainly as possible. So I quote-unquote clipped out of my reality by suffocating myself in sand. After a few attempts, it finally worked, and I found myself in level 0 of the backrooms. Now that I had successfully entered this otherworldly place, I decided to start my exploration. My goal of exploring was to reach a portal that would transport me to the next level, so I set off in search of the portal. Day 2, I had a mini celebration as I just survived my first real day in the backrooms, but unfortunately I hadn't found anything yet, so I just continued to explore. On day 3, I actually found something interesting. I think I had found a different biome of the backrooms, this area having dotted wallpaper instead of the normal striped. It wasn't very significant, but at least it was something. Unfortunately though, it was a pretty small area, so I ended up back in the striped wallpaper area pretty quickly after that. Days 4 through 7 were another couple days that went by without actually finding anything. Finally, on day 8, I found another area. It was basically the standard backrooms, but horribly decrepit and looking even more abandoned than usual. None of the lights were on, so I actually had to use my torch for the first time. This area was somehow even more unsettling than the normal backrooms. The buzz of the lights were gone, leaving me in complete silence in the darkness. Days 9 to 11, I continued to explore the decrepit backrooms. Something about the decrepit backrooms felt really off to me, probably the lack of light and sound. You know that feeling when you're lying in your bed and you feel like somebody's right outside your window and then you look and there's nothing there and you realize you're being paranoid? Okay, maybe that was oddly specific, but yeah, I had that feeling. That weird, unsettling feeling that I was being watched, even though I was completely alone. Day 12, I finally escaped the decrepit backrooms and ended up in the plain backrooms. While I was glad to be out of the decrepit backrooms, I wasn't exactly happy to be back to the monotony of the normal backrooms either. Days 13 to 16 were another couple days where I continued to explore without actually finding anything. But on day 17, I found another biome. This area had blood red wallpaper that covered the walls. I really did not like the feeling I got from this area, at all. Unlike the decrepit backrooms where I just felt paranoid, here I actually felt actively unnerved. The color of the walls reminded me a bit of some of the scenes from the movie The Shining, and definitely gave off the same uncanny vibes. Something about this area really just creeped me out, so I decided to exit the first chance I got and avoid it entirely. Days 18 to 22, I continued to look for the portal and encountered another dotted wallpaper area, but nothing much else. On day 23, I finally found it, my first portal and my ticket to level 1. After saying a proper goodbye to level 0, I hopped in and found myself in level 1 of the backrooms. Level 1 was a lot more cold and dark than level 0, ditching the wallpaper and carpet for bricks and concrete instead. After taking in my brand new surroundings, I headed off in search of the next portal. Days 24 to 29, after a whole 5 days, I found nothing of significance. It seemed like this level was a lot more barren than level 0, with less variety in areas. I had not found a single area and everything seemed the exact same. Day 30. Unfortunately, my wish of finding a new area was granted. However, the only difference that this area had were that the lights were turned off, leaving me alone in the darkness once again. Days 31 to 37, it seemed like this dark area stretched on forever without end. As stupid as it sounds, the long time in the dark made me super paranoid, and I could have almost sworn I saw someone in the corner of my eye at one point. On day 38, I found the most random thing while exploring the dark area. There was a single chair just sitting in the middle of one of the rooms. I'd never seen any chairs or any furniture for that matter in the entirety of my journey, so it was really weird. Out of impulse, I took a seat expecting it to be a saw trap or something, but nope, nothing happened. After resting for a bit in the chair, I continued on my merry way, leaving this lone chair behind. Day 39. Shortly after my strange encounter with a piece of furniture, I finally escaped the dark area and found myself back in the normal area of level 1. And a little while later after that, I found another portal and jumped in, eager to escape the bland environment of level 1. However, nothing could have prepared me for how level 2 would be. Immediately, I found myself in a tunnel with a long pipe parallel to it. There was no end to the tunnel in sight. Unsettlingly enough, there were no ambient sounds in this level, only the sounds of my footsteps on the stone. Even the AC units on the ceiling were somehow quiet. After debating my options for a while, I chose the direction that I thought was forward, and I continued along it. On days 40 to 41, I realized that the tunnel was incredibly long, and I started to wonder if I should have tried the other direction instead. Nevertheless, I continued in my original direction, and I hoped that it would eventually lead to the end. Days 42 to 45, I continued on my walk through the tunnel, but there was still no end in sight. I began to become paranoid that there just was no end, and that I would never escape the seemingly never-ending tunnel. Day 46, I thought I heard something behind me, but when I turned around, there was nothing. Probably me just being paranoid. Days 47 to 51, I continued to grow more and more anxious and paranoid as the tunnel seemed to go on and on. My hopelessness grew as the possibility that I might be stuck here forever grew more and more realistic every day that passed. It had been almost 2 weeks since I first entered the tunnel, and there was still no end in sight. Worst of all, I continued to hear strange sounds, but I would never see anything. Day 52. I heard footsteps behind me. There was no doubt about it now. Something was following me. After I saw whatever that was in the tunnel, I ran for my life. I didn't let go of sprint until I was sure I escaped it. I don't know who or what that thing was, but I did not want to risk it. Days 55 to 60, I continued down the tunnel, well, obviously, since there was no chance I would ever consider going backwards after what I just saw. The encounter with that thing was actually good motivation, since now instead of focusing on reaching a portal, I was more focused on not letting that thing catch up to me. On day 61 though, I finally found the end. After 20 plus days of walking in a small claustrophobic tunnel, I finally reached the end. And at the end was a portal that led me to the final level of the Backrooms, level 3. Level 3 was almost like a combination of level 1 and 2. More pipes, more labyrinth-like stone brick corridors, and more of that uneasy silence from level 2. Unlike previous levels, this one was a legitimate maze, with branching paths that would almost inevitably lead to a dead end, but it was the final level. If I found a portal, I would finally escape the Backrooms once and for all. Motivated by this, I began my exploration of this final level. From days 62 to 65, I found that this level was the most confusing and frustrating of them all. It made the least sense, and I knew I was going through the same area at some points. And there were so many dead ends. Day 66. This level was really weird. I recognized that I was passing through the exact same area, but I had no idea how, because it was physically impossible to loop around. Day 67. This level was really weird. I recognized that I was passing through the exact same area, but I had no idea how, because it was physically impossible to loop around. Day 68. This level was really weird. I recognized that I was passing through the exact same area, but I had no idea how, because it was physically impossible to loop around. Days 69 to 74, I grew more and more frustrated with the non-Euclidean nature of this level and started to wonder if I should just give up. But after remembering that thing I saw in level 2, I decided that it was in my best interest to keep on going. On day 75, I finally found it, the very last portal, my exit out of the backrooms. I was relieved. I was finally ready to leave this place and never return. I entered the portal and I didn't look back.